radio all the time on this global warming. Every day you hear. Carbon dioxide creates global warming. It does this, and this is a great, and there's people saying it's the greatest human threat humankind faces. And we keep hearing this. Al Gore runs around, gets prizes and Nobel Prizes for this. And the media loves it too. So the first half of my talk is sort of politics. And I don't believe hardly any of it. Of all the problems we have in the world, and we got a hell of a lot of them, human-induced global warming is not one of them. Humans may warm the globe a little bit when we double CO2 at the end of the 21st century, but we're not going to create anything like the warming they're talking about. A lot of people say that CO2 actually makes vegetation grow better and things, and if the globe was a little slightly warmer, we'd all be better off than we were in the Ice Age, in the little Ice Age period in the previous centuries. So, let me go on and show you. One thing that bothers me is that we're brainwashing our children. This is out of a typical textbook. It's being taught everywhere. This is what's going to happen when CO2 doubles at the near the end of the 21st century. The oceans are going to warm 2 to 4 degrees. The polar areas are going to warm 5 to 10, 12 degrees or so. There's no way this can happen. This comes out of global models that are faulty and not right. And yet this is going in all textbooks. Al Gore's movie is being shown to all our kids and everything, and it's wrong. And our young people are going to grow up and look back and say, gee, they didn't teach us right. There wasn't anything. Nevertheless, what's the cause of this? Well, I've been around. I think the ascendancy of the religion of numerical modeling and the loss of meteorological judgment and reality. I think that is part of the cause of this. And this is sort of what we've had. You see, we've had weather forecasters and weather prediction out, and that goes along to people involved. But since the computer age has come, we've had a whole lot of people that are modeling. They're living in a virtual world, not a real world, a virtual world that has little meaning to the real world, and they're able to get away with it because modeling is so much in. If there's a model, if I told you that that in 1,000 years the sun was going to stop rising in the east and setting in the west, but go the opposite way, what would you think? Since the history of humans and billions of years, it's all gone this way, but it's going to reverse. You would reject it right out of hand, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Now, if I said, I have a numerical model that has been developed by some Harvard, Princeton guys who graduated cum laude cum from some university, and the government says it's true, and in 100 years the sun's going to begin to rise in the west and sink in the east, you wouldn't immediately reject it. You'd want to know more about it, and that's sort of what we've had. Now, weather prediction is this way. I've been around when numerical weather prediction started in 1955. I was a forecaster from 53 on and stuff, and I remember how exciting we were. So, numerical prediction is sort of like this. You measure the atmosphere at this time. You have satellites, you have weather balloons, aircraft, surface reports, and you have equations and you integrate those equations forward with time. Now, weather prediction has gotten better. I've seen it gradually get better and better and better, out to 5 to 10 days or 12 days. There's skill. No, there's very good skill here where you can extrapolate the momentum fields and the pressure fields, which you can measure. You can extrapolate these forward and do pretty well. I mean, you know, you can't tell still much better what's going to rain tomorrow here in the summer, but you can tell in the next 5 or 10 days if it's going to be colder or warmer than normal and wetter and drier. There's been a lot of advancement. Now, the success of that has led people to say, well, we've done pretty well. Look, we can go 8, 10 days. We have forecast skill. Let's keep going further. Let's go 50 and 100 years. And that is just pure impossible because the globe is too complex. Here's a list. I won't go through all this. But there's so many processes, and particularly after about 10 or 15 days, the momentum doesn't carry you. You have to deal with energy flux, condensation, warming, evaporation, cooling, cloud, cloud-free radiation difference, air-sea interaction. All these things are so complex, it's impossible to write code and integrate this code hundreds of thousands of time steps into the future and get anything but mush out. We call this this butterflies, you see. You have all these butterflies and things, and it just doesn't work. Now, that doesn't stop people. They still do it. And for instance, here's something recent out of the Japanese researchers. Frequency of super typhoons could increase tenfold by the end of the 21st century. Now, there's no way this can happen. These people running this model, I've been 50-some years studying hurricanes and the global weather. I've been around the world. I've had a lot of students. No way could this ever take place. But the people running the models have no background. However, they like grant money and things. If you can write this up and you have this, and the press likes to report it, it makes good press coverage and stuff. That's what we're dealing with. I mean, this is ridiculous. But it gets reported in the paper, and the people that see it. I might say, if I hadn't been in the field as long as I have, and I had been in some other field, and it just knew what I read in the paper, saw on television, and so on, I would be concerned with global warming too. It's all right to be concerned. You've been brainwashed, and the media has not done its job. The government has not done its job. There has not been an honest-to-God good dialogue on the global warming question at scientific meetings. They will not do it because they're afraid. I'm isolated out there. Us that don't go along with this are isolated, forgotten about, criticized. There's been a McCarthyism sort of going against this. I've lost grants. There have been a great, because the idea is the scientific question is over. What does Al Gore and all of them say? It's all been settled. We've all agreed on it. Damn it, I have, and thousands of other people I know don't think it's settled either. And particularly the older people that have been my colleagues through all these years, they don't agree that it's been settled.